Hi everyone, so today I want to show you how I did, because basically I'm going to make this card, which is a double winged gatefold card. This is the 5x7 version. This is the 5x7 version that I made in a live stream, as you can see. Got these little bits that flap open as well. But I was asked by Jeanette if I could do an A5 version. So that's what we're going to do today, an A5 version. And I'm going to change it up a little bit. So it's not going to be exactly the same as this. So obviously on this one here, we've got it opening up. And then we've got these rectangles on the front. Now as we go through, I'll tell you what I think these measurements should be. But I'm going to use some different shapes instead. So not have them rectangular or square. I'm going to mix it up a little bit and do a few different bits and bobs. So hang in for that one. The papers that I'm going to be using today are my Rose Garden digital kit and paper pad. So it's this one here. So this is available as a digital kit over on DRK Crafts. It's also available in my Ko-fi shop, and it's also available as a paper pad in an 8.5 by 8.5 and an A4 over on Amazon. So you can go and check those out. All the links will be in the description below. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so for the main base, you can either start with one piece that is 5.5 by 8.25, which is almost, it's going to be slightly smaller than A5 for reasons that you will see as we go on. So you need one piece that's 5.5 by 8.25, and then you can either go with two pieces that are 6 inches by 8.25, or you can go with what I've gone with here, which is basically almost an A4. So this is 8.25 by 11 inches, and then you just have one piece here, which is your which is the 6 by 8.25. So if you want to do it this way, you can. It just means you're only sticking one extra piece on, because really you want your card to be this big, but obviously I don't have a piece of card that big. You could get it out of an A3 piece of card maybe, so you do the full width, so it'd be like 3 lots of 5.5. So if you wanted to do that, you could, but I decided to do 2 lots of 5.5 and then a 5.5 plus ½ inch tab. Okay, so you're going to need this piece here, which is the 8.25 by 11, and on this one you are going to score at 2 3/4 and at 5.5, which I've already done. And then on this one here, which is the 6 inches wide by 8.25, you're going to score at 2 3/4 and at 5.5. And then what we want to do is take your 11 inch, fold it in half, so you've basically got like a A5 card blank. So if you wanted to use an A5 card blank, you could. And then we're going to fold this front section back on itself like that to kind of like make a Z fold. So that's that one. And then this one here, we're going to fold along the tab like that. And then we are also going to fold this and fold that back. So you're kind of doing another Z again. Because in a minute we're going to attach this on. So let's just burnish that. So that's what you end up with on that one. Okay, so now what we want to go do is we want to stick this onto the back of there. So I'm just going to use a bit of wet glue, so I find it a little bit easier to kind of make sure it's definitely stuck in the right place. So we're going to put some wet glue onto here like that, and then we just need to take this card here, put it over the top, line it up and stick it into position. And what I would do is when you're sticking it down, just kind of fold it over as well, just so you know it's definitely going to fold more or less meet in the middle. I've got a bit of a gap, but it's not too bad. And then when you open it up, it is sort of right in that crease as far as it can go, but obviously not over it. So that is the base of your card done. So next up we need to go ahead and do a little bit of decorating before we go any further. So you're going to need in total one piece of mat that is 5.25 by 8, and if you want to, you can put a piece of pattern over the top that is 5 inches by 7 3/4. Then you're also going to need 4 pieces in total of mat, and these measure 2.5 by 8, and the patterns are 2.25 by 7 3/4. So they're going to go on there like that. So I'm going to go ahead now and stick that down. Okay, so that is what you should end up with. It's just like a normal gatefold card. So obviously on my original one, I then had panels here, this one here, and this one here. And so for if you want to just do rectangles, then I think that you would need panels that are, 2 of them that are 3.5 by 6. So then obviously you're going to stick one on top of the other like I have with this one. But I thought we'd do something a bit different. So what I'm going to do is I've die cut out, I've got this die and I've just never used it. I've die cut out this die and I've done it in in the base card. So I've done it as the base card for the outer. Then I've done the white one, which looks like that. And then I've done a plain oval on top in the pattern. And so what I want to do is have one on the front like that, and then obviously this one as well will be on the next layer, lining up, and then this will be on the middle, on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and first of all we're going to stick this one down. So this one is going to go on there like that. Now I know that the base card, you can't really see it that well against the pattern. However, it meant then that this white stood out better, because the white piece directly onto the pattern, it was kind of disappearing because I've got white on the pattern. So it just meant that it stands out better. So I'm going to go ahead first of all and stamp a greeting onto this. Okay, so I've stamped a greeting and now I'm just going to go ahead and stick that into the middle there. Okay, so we've stuck that down. So now what I'm going to do is bring this over, and I'm going to do the left hand side first. So we're going to take this one and we're going to put this on so it literally lines up like that. And then we're just going to put some glue on this side. So what I'm going to do, I think, although I'm just wondering if that's going to, I think it should be fine. If I flip this over like that and line it up, then at least I know roughly where my glue needs to go. So I'm not going to end up over gluing. So I'm just going to put some glue on this right hand side. So I'm going to stay away from the edge. Okay, like that. And then go ahead and put this on. Okay, so that's that bit done. And then if we bring this one over, we now know we can line this up with this. So again, I'm just going to turn this over, line it up, because it's kind of even and it's equal, makes it a bit easier. And then we can go ahead and put glue on this side and then stick this down on this side. Okay, so we've now got that so far, which I really like. I like the difference of not using rectangles. So now, obviously on the original, we had these little square cards here. So obviously if you wanted to, you could leave that off. But I quite like the idea of having little oval opening up card pieces. So I've made these. I've just made one of them for now, and I'm going to show you how I did this. So what I've done is I found a die that I wanted, and it's one of the nesting set. And so then what I'm going to do is I've cut out a piece of card that measures just a little bit more than the width and a little bit more than the height, as you can see. And then, so this one here, so my oval measures about just under 1 3/4 wide. So this is actually 1 3/4 times 2. And then what we're going to do is I've gone ahead and scored down the middle. I'm going to fold this in half like this. And then I'm going to take my die and put it on, but I'm going to put it on just so that this left hand side just overhangs ever so slightly. Doesn't want to be a lot, just a little bit, so you've got a bit of a hinge. Obviously it does mean that your oval isn't going to be fully oval, but it's fine. It's enough that, you know, it's enough to make it into a card blank. So I'm going to tape it into place, and I'm going to cut it with it folded, so then you get that hinge. Just need to make sure it's definitely straight, which it is, and then I'm going to stick that on like that, and I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine. We're left with that, and if you open it up, you've got like a little card. As you can see, there's only a little bit of a, but it's not, because it's quite an elongated oval, it doesn't matter too much about that. So this one's going to be this way round, so I'm just going to turn it round, and then I've cut out some pattern paper that goes with it, and that's going to go on the top there. Now there is quite a big border, but I thought we might be able to add some gems, some little gems on it or something, just to break that border up a little bit. So we're kind of going very stately home with this card. That's the kind of look we're going with. So let's stick this onto here. Now obviously if you wanted to, you could put bits on the inside as well, but I'm going to leave mine as it is, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to put on the inside. I might just, I'm not sure yet. You could put a little picture of the person or a little flower or something like that. So now I'm going to go ahead and stick these down. So that's going to go on there, and this one is going to go on there, so it opens up the opposite way. Okay, so there we have our little ovals. Now these really remind me of, like, you know, having like mirrors, like a mirror on the wall kind of a look. So if you want to, you could do that, or if you've got those cameo type things, you know, if you've got like a picture of something you could put in there, that might work well. So yeah, so that's what we've got so far. So now we're going to go ahead, and I really wanted to add a happy birthday around here, because if I just put one across there, then that's not going to open properly. Obviously on my original one, this one actually hasn't got anything on the front of it, which I don't think I ever got around to doing it, but I did do another one of these, and I did put something on the front. So yeah, you can really do what you want. But I've cut out happy birthday out of all little letters, and I made sure to put double-sided tape on the back before I cut them all out. So I'm thinking about having happy birthday going round this oval. So something like, I don't know if we do it exactly, we do. It's just a very tight angle, so I didn't know whether it was going to look right being all bang on. But if we, okay, let's even it up a little bit. Like that. So happy, and then birthday. So I'm going to go ahead now anyway and try and figure out how I want it to be. And I'm going to put the birthday around there, and I'm going to stick these down. Okay, so there we go, there it's finished. And as you can see, if I turn it with the light, you can see the happy birthday. In real life you can see the happy birthday quite well, but I do appreciate on the camera you can't really see it. So then I think I just want to add some gems, and we've got these little tiny ones. These are Anita's ones, so I'm going to go ahead now and just put them in the middle of all of these going around here, and I'm going to have to do it on this one, and then I think I'm going to have to do it on this one definitely. I'd like to do it on that as well, but I think that's pushing it, so I think we'll just go with these top two, yeah, and then we'll come back and have a look. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so there we go, there we have the finished card. So if I put it like this, hold it up so you can see, and on the photos you'll be able to see it really well, but you can't really see the little gems. But I like these little gems because they're so tiny. You just add a tiny bit of sparkle on the front, and then obviously you've got these two little bits. I've yet to decide what I'm going to do with those, but they're small enough that they don't actually bother me. But yeah, it's a really nice card. And obviously now we've got space in the middle. I've put the space in the middle this time, because on my other one you'd write on the back, but with this one I've done it so you write in the middle, because I think that once this stands up you could get it so that it's like that, so actually you don't, you know, you can write a message in there and it's not so public. So they can kind of go like that. I mean, you can open it out if you want to, whatever. If you want to make that as a, you know, a main focus area and you write on the back, you could do that too. But yeah, so there you go. So that is the A5 version, and this whole thing finishes off being 5.5 by 8.25. So it's just slightly slimmer than an A5, but it just means that then we can get that one side out of an A4 sheet of paper. I hope you enjoyed today. Don't forget to go and check out my Rose Garden papers over on DRK Crafts and also on my Ko-fi shop. And the paper pads are available on Amazon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss a video, and we'll see you again next time. Bye!